Hey everybody, welcome to the Crypto Chart Update for December 2nd, 2017. Today's episode is back on the table because everything's back on the table. We had a huge crash a couple days ago, a lot of volatility up and down, a lot of whipsaws, and right now we're almost at those old all-time highs. But is this a real climb back to those highs, or is this just a fake out, and are we still going to see a crash, a bigger crash down to lower levels? That's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I'm your host Tim, a retail investor and a journalist, and the Crypto Chart Update is where I analyze all the charts with technical analysis, hopefully giving you a better understanding how to use these tools, set your targets, create your stops, and make better trades, which in the end makes us all more money. You can check out my real live blog on tradingview.com. Right here you can see my name is BerlinTrader591. If you add me on tradingview.com, then you can see all of my trading updates. So the trades I'm making are always updated here in real time. You can check out what I'm looking at and see my visual targets and stops and predictions. And it's a great tool. They have great charts on TradingView, and if you sign up, please click on the link below this video and sign up through that link, and this little piece comes my way, and that's one way of supporting me. There are also other affiliates which I do support, some brokers and exchanges and hardware wallets that I actually use, such as Trezor, Nano, Coinbase, and GDAX exchanges. Please sign up using those links if you're signing up to those exchanges for the first time, and a little piece will come my way. Just remember, guys, this video is for entertainment purposes only. There are no actual trading advice, pieces of advice given in this video. Please contact your registered financial advisor before making any trades. So let's get into those charts. But before we get into the charts, I just wanted to do a little tour of the news, something I thought I could start here, going through a few headlines and checking out the sentiment and how is the news affecting price. To be honest, I don't follow the news to make trades. That's a loser's game. But we can understand the narrative and the sentiment behind the price movement by looking at articles. But I just thought this was a funny article today in The Guardian. Bitcoin, is it a bubble waiting to burst or a good investment? And that just shows how so many people are getting into this space right now, but they don't really know how it works. And we can take advantage of that, but it can cause some instability. And I just thought it was a funny line here. They say Bitcoin is created by miners and must be stored using an online digital wallet. And it just shows that the people writing these articles for these big newspapers, they really have no idea how Bitcoin works, because here it says it must be stored online, and that's totally false, right? You could store your Bitcoin on an exchange, you could store it on an online wallet, but you don't have to. You can use an offline wallet, you can use a wallet on yourself, on your handy, German word there, on your smartphone, or you can use a physical wallet like a Trezor, a hardware wallet, or you can use your brain. I mean, you don't even need a wallet. You can just memorize the key, the seed, and you don't need to carry around anything. So that's just patently false. It must be stored online. That's wrong. Using a digital wallet, which is also wrong, because you can use a hardware wallet, or you can use your head, which is not a digital wallet. So again, the people writing these articles know less than you do, most likely, so you can make a good decision just as good as the so-called experts. Just remember that's why Bitcoin is so great, because right now the playing field is leveled. Other news, futures are coming online December 18th. Basically that means big players are going to be able to invest using their futures broker, the CME, the CBOE. You're going to list futures, and that means we might have a lot of big money, institutional money, coming into Bitcoin. Now, is that going to raise the price, or are they going to short Bitcoin and we're going to see some selling pressure or some equilibrium coming into play? And it might not be exactly what we expect. And again, I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen when they release futures. It just means there's going to be a lot of volatility, and that's why we use technical analysis to catch wind of where the sentiment is moving, so we can capitalize on the move And finally, I wanted to show you coinmarketcap.com. This is where I usually go quickly if I'm out and about or at the beginning of the day, just to quickly check the prices. And I think that's a really good habit to get into, to get away from the charts and just keep your eye on the price. So just to know, Bitcoin is around 11,000, Ethereum's around 465, Ripple's around 25 cents, just to have the price in mind, right? So you can kind of get a sense of where price is moving without having to look at a chart. And it takes away all the noise of the 30-minute chart going up and down, or the indicators distracting you, just looking simply at price. But we are here to look at charts, so let's dive in. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And yeah, we had a rough couple of days. As you can see, yeah, we came up to around 11,500 almost, and we saw a price drop. And since then, we've kind of gotten sideways, and we're at the top of those highs right now. If we zoom into the 60-minute chart, we see a little more of that volatility, which is pretty amazing actually. We had maybe the most volatile days in the history of Bitcoin in terms of price, and we came up to those highs, we crashed down, we had a V reversal as usual, came down to lower lows, and we made an inverse head and shoulders right there, or I should say right there. We broke out of that, and right now we are consolidating up near those highs. Now the question really is, do we break out to new highs above, let's say, 11,400 or 11,200? Do we break out above those highs, or are we going to break back down and retest those lows from the 30th of November, those short-term lows? If we do head back down to retest those lows, that would be an interesting double top pattern. So if we break out, then we're looking for another leg up to 12,000 and above. But if we do retest those lows, that would be a double top. And if we break that, then we are definitely in for some lower downside, some shock. A price shock might be in order, down to at least 8,200. And if we go further, then we could easily see 7,500, and big support down here at 6,000. So we could see a crash. It's in the cards. Definitely at some point we're going to have to see a drop. Is that right now? I'm not so sure, because momentum is on the upside. If we see this moving average, the momentum is up on the 60-minute. If we go to the 4-hour, we see momentum is up as well, but again, coming towards that double top, right? If we make that double top, so that's what we're watching. Are we going to break out to new highs, or are we going to make a double top? So we're going sideways right now, nothing to be scared of. Ethereum is, something I'm really aggressively long right now. If you have been following my trades on tradingview.com or these videos, you know that 400 was our breakout level. We broke out of there, and we're consolidating presently on that level. So that's healthy. We're holding that support. If we hold that support long enough, then I think we're going to see a nice breakout to 565 or 700. But right now we're going sideways, and really the question is, are we going to see Bitcoin break down and then Ethereum along with it, or is Bitcoin going to go sideways and money moves into Ethereum and we get that breakout? I'm hoping for the latter, and I'm hoping that it follows that pattern for Ripple as well, because Ripple is another coin, if you look right here, that I've really been pounding the table for a few weeks about this consolidation. It's gone on long enough, and we need to have a breakout. And if we do break out, it should be quite a strong break, because we've had such a long consolidation. Long consolidation means a bigger break. And if Bitcoin goes sideways for a bit, then maybe movers and shakers come in to Ripple and we break out. On the other hand, we do see some weakness. This 200-day is rolling over, and that's a sign that weakness is coming in, and if we fall below that 200-day and then tap and test that support, there's a better chance we could break. And again, that would go along with the bearish thesis with Bitcoin crashing to much lower levels. Litecoin, Litecoin is kind of following Bitcoin. It's hitting that 100 level, which was also the old highs back in September. So it's kind of a nice place to face some resistance, maybe a good place to take profits here. If you're in Litecoin, we could easily bounce back to that trend line, which would go in line with the falling Bitcoin, or we break out to new highs and we retest this uptrending trend line connecting the tops of prices, which would be quite a big rise up around 150. But that's entirely possible if Bitcoin breaks out, Litecoin breaks out to 160. And if we do sustain a breakout above 100, I would re-enter Litecoin. So if we break out of 100, if we break out to a new level, if we break out of that resistance, right now we have resistance at 100. If we can break out of that 100, I would enter a trade above 100 and place my stop below 100 with a target of around 150, which would be the, or 130 would be the 161.8 retracement, and 150 would be the 200% measured move. So those would be my first two targets. Remember guys, take profits at each target, because if you don't take profits at each target, you might miss your final target and price might not get there. Sometimes it almost reaches the target and it pulls back. So you don't want to miss the chance to take profits. It never hurts to take profits. Don't listen to people that say let your profits run. It's mathematically proven that letting your losers run is more profitable, because they will come back maybe to break even, but your winners might also go back to break even, and you want to take your winners when you have them, but you don't want to take your losses, right? Okay, so Monero, we got out of Monero. We took our target, we took our profits around 200, which was a nice level, and we've come back to that support. We've bounced off just like with Ethereum, and now we're heading back up. The question is, do we move up fast to 213 and then 246, or do we come back down and retest that again? Again, I think that's where all the coins are sitting at right now. They're sitting near those all-time highs like Bitcoin, and the question is, are we going to break out, are we going to consolidate, or are we going to head back down and crash back into those former ranges? And really all these coins, if they crash back down, we'll be consolidating for a while more, and we'll call this a false breakout. But right now, Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum, they've all broken out, and they're trying to hold those breakout levels to consolidate sideways, and that's what we want to see. We don't want to see a crash back into old territory. Okay. And one thing I haven't pointed out is the overbought conditions, I guess, on a lot of these coins. I think on almost every coin on the daily chart, we've seen overbought conditions and no oversold conditions. And that's a good sign. Oversold means selling momentum, which means there's momentum to the downside. Overbought means buying momentum. It means momentum to the upside. So that's just another sign. Vertcoin looks really good. This is a great entry right now, I think, if you get in right now, because we just broke through the $6 level, and our target is up near those all-time highs around 1130. Again, if we're moving up in Vertcoin, I think that shows strength for the rest of the market, because these are the smaller coins, the altcoins, and if we see strength in the altcoins, I think that shows risk appetite. Risk appetite means more people are getting into Bitcoin and then taking that Bitcoin and buying altcoins. And if altcoins are going up, then I think Bitcoin is not going to crash. I think Bitcoin is going to move sideways or break out. So PivX, another one, finally doing what we thought it would after all these months, pressing up against this resistance level. And if it finally can break through this resistance level and finish there, right, then I think we're going to get a huge breakout to 5 or 7. So we're talking 50, 100, maybe 200% gain in PivX if we break out of this level. And it looks about to. If we break above that level, then our breakout level would be maybe 430. Above 430, we're long. Under $4, we're out, and we take profits around 6, maybe 5, 6, and 7 would be some targets. OMG, another altcoin that's on the cusp of breaking out of its consolidation over the last few months. And if we break out here, our target would be over, let's say, call it over 10 to 1080, depending on if you're aggressive, then get it over 10. If you're a little safer, then over 1080. A close above those levels means we're long, and we want to be long above that trend line, let's say above 950. Our stop is at 950. We're long above 10, and we could take profits at the old highs around 1350. And if we do a fib retracement, then we can get our proper targets. We'll take our first target at around 1450, and our second target around 20, based on the 161% fib level. So another big run if we break out here. And again, if we break out in these altcoins, that means risk appetite, and I don't think Bitcoin is failing in that market. Here's Neo, just kind of going sideways into consolidation, not breaking out or breaking down, so we're just going to keep our eye on that. Byteball is interesting. This is a great example of support turning into a resistance level. Right, this support back in August and July is now a resistance level here in November, and as long as we're under this, I wouldn't touch it. But if we cross this line of 300, which is coincidentally right around the round number of 300, if we get back above that line and close, then I think we can be long all day until those old highs back at 1,000. IOTA, it's another one people are into. We actually called this one. I didn't get in it though because I just stopped using Bitfinex, and it's on Bitfinex. And but yeah, great consolidation pattern here since its initial offering, and it held just under the support level, a little handle there, broke out. So I would have gotten in on this breakout, stopped below that trend line, and first target would have been those highs, those old highs at around 130, which is where we see some consolidation going on right now. And yeah, I certainly expect that to reach the second target around $2. Looks healthy right now. Looks like a nice trade on IOTA. And ARK, had some requests to go over ARK. Where's ARK here? Yeah, ARK also consolidating basically in an uptrend since it's ICO lows, just up. Why should that stop, right? Keep playing that trend until it stops, until it's no good. And just like Ethereum, we've kind of gone sideways for a couple months, and right now we're bumping up against that lower trend line. We bounced here, bounced here, bounced here. We're making higher lows, and pressure is building under that resistance level from the all-time ICO highs. If we can break out above 4.5, our target is going to be 674, which is the 161.8 retracement. Remember, those targets are based on fib levels because we have no resistance or support above all-time highs, so we use Fibonacci projections, and the 161.8 is our first stop, and that's 674. If we break through that, then our fib levels got fucked up. 1 second. If we break through that level, then our next target's going to be the 200% measured move of 780, and then the 261.8 fib level at 960. So take profits at the fib levels. Maybe not all your profits. Take 30% or 50% of your position off the table, so you lock in those profits, and the next target, you can go to the next target and take some more profits, but keep reducing your size. That's also the name of the game. How do you stay in this game when you have crashes or when you make losses? How do you stay in this game? How do you stay viable? It's really about keeping your size small, because small size means you don't think irrationally, you're not desperate. Small size means your returns are more even because it's more based on the rules that you make for yourself and your trading abilities, and it's not just about getting lucky once. And small size also means that you have the ability to trade other coins, right? You won't lose opportunity cost by trading one coin. You can be in a diversified group of coins, so keep your size small. A very important piece of advice there that I would give every new trader. Okay, that's about it for now. Basically, it looks like we're in a holding pattern momentarily. We've recovered from that big crash a couple of days ago on Bitcoin. And one interesting thing that happened, I think, was that yesterday the stock market actually crashed. Let's check out SPY, SPY, the American stock market. We had a little crash yesterday. You can't really see it on this chart, but the market really broke down in a big way. And when that was happening, Bitcoin held its own. Bitcoin was uncorrelated and actually rose in price. So as the market was crashing, Bitcoin was rising. For me, it was, maybe it's not the end all, the be all end all, but it was an interesting test to see the market crashing but Bitcoin staying stable. And that was a interesting sign in the future when the stock market crashes, because the stock market is also in a bubble. Are we going to see Bitcoin as a store of value, as a place to flee for stability? Are people going to enter the futures market? Or is the stock market going to crash at some point and then people go into Bitcoin to hedge their losses? Now, if that happens, I think we're going to see a big rise in Bitcoin. And that's really my prediction for 2018. Take it or leave it, right? We're going to see a change in sentiment in the stock market, which has just been going nuts for the last year. We're going to see the stock market either consolidate or at least have a correction where we see a pullback in the stock market. At the same time, we're going to see Bitcoin, money go into Bitcoin, and we're going to see huge price rises in Bitcoin, and the bubble is going to go higher than anyone had ever thought. That said, maybe before that happens, we might see a correction in Bitcoin. We might see a crazy blow off top in the stock market and a crazy crash down to 6,000 or 5,000 in Bitcoin. And that would set the stage for a stock market crash and a move into Bitcoin. But it's all speculation. Really, nobody knows. But you got to have a thesis in the back of your mind so you can make trades against it. So, have a nice weekend, guys. See you next time. Peace.